Look at how beautiful that plate looks. The other day I'm sitting down talking to my husband and he casually brings up the fact that we hadn't had meatloaf in a long time. And I like meatloaf, y'all. So I know meatloaf has its haters, but maybe you haven't had it with like some really good flavor. Anyway, let me show you how I do it. So if you didn't scroll past after I mentioned meatloaf, welcome. I'm gonna add in some flavor to this meatloaf, okay? A little bit of adobo, some onion powder, garlic powder, black pepper. This is about 2.5 pounds of ground beef, by the way. Some Italian seasoning, some Italian style seasoned breadcrumbs. It has to be seasoned, okay? This right here is what's gonna make all the difference in flavor, okay? I have here 1 whole small onion and about half of a green and a red bell pepper. And then I also have about 2 cloves of garlic in there that I chopped up. I let this cook and simmer on the stove for a little while. And then I deglaze the pan with a little bit of water mixed with chicken bouillon. So basically a little bit of chicken broth to deglaze the pan. Look at how soft and delicious that is. I let it cool off and now I'm gonna put this in here. It's important to let it cool off because you don't want to put something super hot on your ground beef because then it'll kind of start to cook it a little, you know. 1 egg and some fresh chopped parsley. Notice I didn't add any salt because there's salt in the adobo, there's salt in this, these breadcrumbs have salt. And then the veggies, since I put the chicken bouillon and a little bit of salt and pepper to cook the veggies down, I can pretty much eyeball this by now and tell that it's going to be good as far as salt is concerned. But what I have done many times before is I go ahead and I take that little frying pan that I cook my onions and stuff in. I take a tiny little piece of the meat mixture, kind of like you're making a little hamburger. So that it cooks fast, I just flatten it up like this and I cook it real quick on the stove. And then you taste it for salt. That way you'll know before you cook an entire meatloaf and realize, oof, she don't got no flavor. Also, don't manhandle your meatloaf, okay? Mix her up a couple times, make sure all your ingredients are incorporated, and leave her alone. I don't know. I saw that on the Food Network. I think it gets tough or something. I don't know. But ever since I learned that, I try not to manhandle my ground beef too much. You can spray it down, but this is non-stick, so I'm not concerned. Mom, the meatloaf. And we are going to form her. Make her look like a meatloaf. We're gonna put her in a 400-degree oven. I'm gonna be real, I don't know how long. To be honest, I think I'm just gonna put her in. I'm gonna start her at about 20 minutes and then I'm gonna check her because I am gonna top this with some barbecue sauce. For the meatloaf, I will be using a meat thermometer because I don't want my meatloaf to be dry. So use that meat thermometer for meatloaf, okay? Did I say 400 uncovered? 400 uncovered. So we have our meatloaf. She's not done though. I have some barbecue sauce here. And we're gonna paint her like a little piece of artwork. And I just used Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. You can use any barbecue sauce you like. I'm gonna put it back in the oven. So my meatloaf hit 169. I ended up only glazing her 1 time just because I feel like 1 time was enough. It was perfect. You can go ahead and hit her with a little bit more glaze if you want to, or you could just warm up that barbecue sauce and put it down as you serve it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna let this sit and rest for at least a good 10 to 15 minutes so all of those juices could reconcentrate into that meat, and then we'll cut her up and you can see what she looks like. Look at that beauty. She's been resting now for about 15, maybe even 20 minutes, so let's cut her open. Look at how delicious that looks. That's why I have to admit I don't use it often, but there's certain recipes where you need that meat thermometer. Meatloaf is 100% one of those recipes. Look at how freaking juicy and delicious, okay? Let's taste right here. Look at that big, juicy, delicious piece. Take. Want some? Want some? Okay. That right there. And I only use ground beef. You, of course, could use a mixture of ground beef, pork, and veal, which most people do. Like, that's like the meatloaf mix, you know? But I prefer just ground beef. Absolutely incredible. Sometimes I impress myself, I'm not gonna lie. Such a comfort meal. And those mashed potatoes, being half veggie, we did that, okay? We did that. So good.